I just found out my fiance wants to sleep with other people right after we had sex last night. Hey Reddit. Last night was supposed to be just another intimate moment between my fiance and me. It wasn't anything unusual, just the two of us, enjoying each other's company, the way we always had. Everything felt normal, comfortable, safe. But the moment we were done, she turned to me with this strange, almost hesitant look in her eyes. At first, I thought maybe she was about to say something sweet, maybe whisper that she loved me, or talk about our future together, the way she sometimes did in those quiet, vulnerable moments. Instead, she took a deep breath and hit me with something that made my entire world stop. I need to tell you something, she said, her voice careful, almost rehearsed. I've been thinking about this for a while. I want to sleep with other people. I blinked, my brain refusing to register what she had just said. At first, I thought she was joking. Maybe some kind of weird, badly timed joke, maybe an awkward attempt at spicing things up in a way I didn't understand. So I laughed, a small, nervous chuckle, waiting for her to clarify, to tell me she was messing with me. But she didn't. Her face remained serious, her eyes locked onto mine, waiting for my reaction. That was when it hit me. She wasn't joking. She was dead serious. My stomach twisted into knots as a cold wave of realization washed over me. My body was still warm from the intimacy we had just shared, but suddenly, I felt cold. My heart pounded in my chest, and I could feel the room around me shrinking. I forced myself to sit up, my mind scrambling to make sense of what was happening. What do you mean? I finally asked, my voice tighter than I intended. She sighed, looking down at her hands as if she couldn't meet my gaze. I love you, she started, and the moment those words left her mouth, I knew something terrible was coming. I really do. But I feel like, I don't know. Like I need more experiences before we get married. I don't want to feel like I've missed out on something. I stared at her, my mouth slightly open, but no words came out. Missed out? We had been together for years. We had built a life together. I had never once felt like I was missing out on anything, because I had her. But now, she was sitting there, telling me that she felt differently. That she wasn't ready. That she wanted to be with other people before she walked down the aisle and committed to me for life. So, you want an open relationship? I finally managed to say, my voice eerily calm, though my entire body felt like it was on fire. She nodded, biting her lip like she was nervous about my reaction. Not permanently, she clarified quickly. Just for a little while, before we actually tie the knot. I just want to see what it's like. And I don't want to hide it from you. I felt like I was going to be sick. My stomach churned, my hands clenched into fists against the sheets. Just an hour ago, I was lying next to the woman I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with, completely secure in our love. Now, in the span of minutes, everything had been shattered. How long had she been thinking about this? Was there already someone she had in mind? Had she been holding back from acting on it until she could get my approval, or was this just her way of easing the guilt? Have you done anything yet? I asked, hating the way my voice shook, hating that I even had to ask. She quickly shook her head. No. I swear, I haven't. I wouldn't do that without talking to you first. That should have reassured me, but it didn't. Because the fact that she hadn't cheated yet didn't change the fact that she wanted to. That she was asking for permission to do it. That, in her heart, she was already halfway out the door, already imagining herself in someone else's arms, someone else's bed. I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe. My mind was running 1,000 miles per hour, replaying every moment of our relationship, searching for signs I had missed. Had I been blind? Had she been pulling away from me, dropping hints that I had ignored? I thought we were happy. I thought we were in love. I thought she wanted the same future I did. But now, sitting there, looking at her, I realized that maybe I was the only one who truly believed that. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of panic in her expression. Please don't be mad, she whispered. I just don't want to have regrets. Regrets. That word stabbed through me like a knife. Was I a regret? Was our relationship something she would look back on with resentment if she didn't do this? I had always believed that love was about choosing each other every single day. About being enough for each other. But in that moment, I realized she had already made her choice. And it wasn't me. I got out of bed, suddenly needing distance, needing space to breathe, to think. I could feel her eyes on me, waiting, hoping I would understand. But how could I? How could I ever understand the person I loved telling me, after years of commitment, that I wasn't enough? I don't know what you want me to say, I finally muttered, running a hand through my hair. Because honestly, I didn't. She hesitated, then spoke carefully, as if trying not to push me further away. I just want us to talk about it. To figure something out. Figure something out. Like this was some kind of compromise we could negotiate. Like there was a version of this conversation where I would smile, nod, and tell her, sure, go ahead, Sleep with whoever you want, and I'll just sit here and wait for you to come back. The thought made my stomach churn. I need time to think, I finally said, my voice hollow. She nodded slowly, but I could see the way she tensed, as if she knew this wasn't the kind of thing that time could fix. I walked out of the bedroom, needing air, needing distance, needing to be anywhere but next to her. My mind was a storm of emotions, anger, heartbreak, confusion. How was I supposed to process this? How was I supposed to look at her the same way, knowing that she wanted more than just me? I sat down in the living room, staring at the dark screen of the TV, my thoughts racing. Was this the end of us? Could I ever forgive her for even asking this? Or was there some way to fix it, to hold on to the life we had built together before it crumbled completely? I didn't know the answer. All I knew was that my fiancée, the woman I thought was my forever, had just shattered everything I believed about our relationship in a single night. And now, I had to decide what came next. Update. I spent the entire night on the couch, staring at the ceiling, my mind refusing to shut off. Sleep was impossible. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, heard her words echoing in my head. She wanted to sleep with other people. She wanted to experience more before settling down. The woman I had built my future around was suddenly telling me that our relationship, our love, wasn't enough for her. That thought alone was enough to make my stomach churn. At some point, I must have dozed off because I woke up to the sound of her softly calling my name. It was morning, and she was standing a few feet away, looking hesitant, her arms crossed over her chest like she was bracing herself for whatever was coming. I just stared at her, my body still heavy with exhaustion, my emotions completely drained. I had no idea how I was supposed to act, how I was supposed to feel. Part of me still wanted to hold her, to pretend that none of this had ever happened, but the other part of me was drowning in anger, betrayal, and a deep, crushing sadness. She sat down on the edge of the couch, carefully keeping some distance between us. I don't want to lose you, she said, her voice soft, almost pleading. But I need to be honest about what I'm feeling. I let out a bitter laugh, shaking my head. Honest. That was rich coming from someone who had just blindsided me with this revelation after years of being together. I wanted to ask her why she hadn't told me sooner, why she had waited until we were already engaged, already planning a life together, before dropping this on me. But I knew that even if she gave me an answer, it wouldn't change anything. The damage was already done. She started talking again, trying to explain herself, but I barely heard her. My mind was stuck on one thing: how could I ever trust her again? Even if she promised that she hadn't done anything yet, that she just wanted to talk about it, the fact remained that she wanted to. She had thought about it. She had fantasized about it. And now that she had voiced it, there was no going back. No matter what happened next, our relationship would never be the same. I need space, I finally said, cutting her off mid-sentence. I could see the way her face fell, but I didn't care. I couldn't sit there and pretend like we could just talk our way through this. I needed time to think, to breathe, to figure out what the hell I was supposed to do now. She nodded slowly, biting her lip, and for a moment, it looked like she wanted to say something else. But instead, she just got up and walked away, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I sat there for what felt like hours, staring at nothing, trying to make sense of it all. Was this something I could ever accept? Could I ever look at her the same way knowing that she wanted to be with other people? Or was this the moment where I had to walk away, no matter how much it hurt? I had no answers. But I knew one thing for sure: our relationship would never be the same again. Another update. It's been a few days since that conversation, and things have only gotten worse. At first, I thought maybe she would realize what she was asking for was ridiculous. That she would come to her senses and take it back. But she hasn't. If anything, she's doubled down. We've barely spoken since that night. She's been giving me space, but I can tell she's waiting for me to come around, waiting for me to say that I understand, that we can find a way to make this work. But I can't. Every time I see her, I feel this pit in my stomach, this overwhelming sense of betrayal. I don't even know who she is anymore. The woman I fell in love with would never have asked me for this. Then, last night, everything came to a head. We finally sat down to talk, really talk, about what this meant for us. She told me that she loved me, that she still wanted to be with me, but that she couldn't ignore the part of her that wanted to explore. That word, explore, made my blood boil. She made it sound like this was some kind of adventure, like it was something exciting rather than something that was actively tearing us apart. I told her I couldn't do it. I couldn't be in a relationship where I had to sit back and watch the person I loved be with someone else. I asked her if she had already found someone, if she had someone specific in mind. She hesitated, just for a second, and that was all I needed to know. Maybe she hadn't done anything yet, but she had thought about it. And that was enough to destroy any trust I had left. She started crying, saying she didn't want to lose me, that she wished she didn't feel this way but she couldn't help it. And that was when I realized the truth. She had already made her choice. Maybe not consciously, maybe not intentionally, but the moment she decided that sleeping with other people was something she wanted more than a committed relationship with me, she had already chosen her path. And it wasn't one I could walk with her. I told her I needed time to figure out what I was going to do next, but deep down, I already knew. This wasn't something we could fix. This wasn't something we could compromise on. I think this might be the end. Final update. I ended it. It wasn't an easy decision, but in the end, it was the only one I could make. I couldn't be in a relationship where I felt like I was constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop, constantly wondering if I was enough, constantly questioning whether the person I loved was thinking about someone else. That's not love. That's torture. When I told her, she broke down. She begged me to reconsider, said she would give up the idea of sleeping with other people, that she just hadn't realized how much it would hurt me. But it was too late. The damage was already done. Even if she took it back, even if she promised to be faithful, I would always know that a part of her had wanted something else. I would always feel like I was second choice, like I was the safe option she had settled for instead of the person she truly wanted to be with. She packed a bag and left to stay with a friend. I don't know if she's coming back for the rest of her stuff or if she's waiting for me to leave first. I don't care. I just know that I can't be here anymore. Every corner of this apartment reminds me of her, of us, of everything we were supposed to be. I don't regret my decision. It hurts like hell, but I know I did the right thing. Because at the end of the day, love isn't about holding on to someone who doesn't truly want to be with you. It's about knowing when to let go. And so, I'm letting go.